You founded this company 12 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Tell them how old you were.
I was 19. Yeah.
So, don't worry about the future. We're in good hands.
Empowering individuals and enfranchising individuals.
I want you to look at them.
Holmes deceived lots of prominent people using a wide range of deceptive tactics. One of her tactics is parroting words and phrases in order to say what CEOs, interviewers, and former presidents want to hear.
I'd like to give both of you a chance just to talk about this. Is it realistic to think that we can continue to reduce inequality across the world and within advanced economies, given the rate of technological advance?
Clinton has practically answered his own question, which makes it easy for Holmes to say yes and parrot what she knows he wants to hear.
Want to go first?
I think absolutely. I think the promise of technology is that we can make access to basic infrastructure and, in many cases, to more advanced infrastructure than is even currently available today in developed economies, available to people who are the most in need, in the same way that cell phones have leapfrogged over the lack of landlines in so many places. And
her hand gestures display confidence and conviction. Assertive body language works. Many people take assertive body language to mean that the speaker is competent. Whether or not it works in this case is a different matter though, as the robotic nature of it can come across as unnatural and deliberate. She also uses slogans, and slogans resonate with people.
I think the promise of Silicon Valley and these places in the world in which there's so much creativity is that we can demonstrate that there are models for doing well by doing good and for applying technology.
Slogans are easy for people to remember, but they're also easy for CEOs and politicians to use. It's easier to say a slogan than specify exactly what you'll do and how, so oftentimes there's reason to doubt the sincerity of slogans. Here, the slogan is a way for Holmes to finish her answer, as the pause indicates that she doesn't know how to finish it.
Is that we can demonstrate that there are models for doing well by doing good. We're focused on health and access to health information. It's the first step in being able to get people well enough to go to school and to be able to pursue economic development.
This is a standard politician answer, a generic statement with a generic link between one thing and the other, because you could have taken almost any other parameter and linked it to economic development. However, apparently her answer is more than enough for this crowd.
And that's one of the reasons I've been so impressed by your dogged determination not only to cut the costs and increase the quality of lab tests, but to give people who give the blood the results of their test.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, can you discuss your theory of what you're doing and other things in terms of whether it advances equal opportunity and social solidarity? Tell them what you think is going to happen.
Equal opportunity and social solidarity are both generic catchphrases. Speaking in catchphrases and slogans makes it easy for someone like Holmes to give whatever self-serving answers she feels like giving, as a question like this doesn't require her to think about anything specific. Catchphrase questions make it easy for the interviewer and the interviewee to be deliberately unspecific and vague, but still sound like good, moral people. There's a reason why politicians prefer buzzwords to outlining specific plans to the public.
But first, tell them just in 2 sentences what you're doing, because Jack and I know, and we haven't been clear enough. Explain it, and explain how you think that advances social solidarity and equality of opportunity.
Well, our work is in the belief that access to health information is a basic human right. And our work is in being able to make lab testing accessible to people in time for therapy to be effected. And to do that in a way in which every person, irrespective of their insurance status, irrespective of where they live, can afford the ability to get a test done.
Holmes knows just what to emphasize to make people think she's sympathetic and believe her, the same way politicians do. And next, she taps into another emotional value, patriotism, at which point these monologues become indistinguishable from a political speech.
So that means, in our case, we've invested the last 12 years in now developing hundreds of tests, many of which are less than $10. So $2 tests in the United States. And I think one of the amazing things about this country is that we have such an incredible ecosystem for fueling creativity, and that creativity can create new markets.
It's one thing to be careful about how you phrase things. It's another thing to be at a loss for words, as Holmes is here. On top of that, she ends up with another big leap from ecosystems fueling creativity, whatever that means specifically, if anything, to the almost circular observation that creativity can create new markets. I say circular because the verb create is contained in the noun creativity. Thus, the grammatical subject and verb express the same thing. Also, creativity is inanimate. It can't do anything by itself. It needs to be linked to specific activities people do before it makes sense. What creativity and compared to what? Her appeal to patriotism is a way for her to not having to explain this specifically.
$2 tests in the United States. And I think one of the amazing things about this country is that we have.
Next, she finds comfort in buzzwords.
And our basic belief is that those new markets come from empowering individuals and enfranchising individuals and trusting that individuals have the capability to engage with information, and in accessing that information, beginning to take control of their own outcomes and their own health outcomes, and in doing so, changing the way our healthcare system works.
When you listen to politicians, notice how often they try to associate with ordinary people by saying that they trust them and believe in them. This is a way of making ordinary people feel empowered, as many people like to feel heard and respected by people they consider to be authorities. That's why the buzzword empower is so overused as it is today. Here, Holmes is reusing the verb empower, which Clinton has already introduced.
I believe people want to stand on their own 2 feet. I think they want to be empowered.
Showing us what we've all probably already suspected, that this meeting is all about saying the right things. Obviously, Holmes has realized that, which makes it easy for her to play along. Next, Clinton's excited response reveals that she's succeeded in convincing him.
Think what this could mean for rural China, for rural India. One of the most important things I think we did in my second term as president in the healthcare front was develop this diabetes self-care program. And all of a sudden, Jack's company could be delivering the means to self-care based on your test. I mean, I think that this is a very big deal. We all want to live as long and as well as we can. And you founded this company 12 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Tell them how old you were.
I was 19.
So, don't worry about the future. We're in good hands. So,
I always think about 19, where I am. You know, people like her, you know, we're jealous.
People have a tendency to focus on all the wrong things. Surface-level confidence, buzzwords, and presumed extraordinary personal details.
She is the youngest person to ever get the Horatio Alger Award, since the Horatio Alger Award was invented in 1947. The company that she started at 19 is valued at $9 billion. Congratulations on that.
You're clearly very passionate about changing the world through your new company.
Many people praise the image they have of someone, and as a result, end up ignoring all the person's red flags.
Building this company is about building people. I'm an engineer. I was in the engineering school there.
They see the person for who they want them to be or represent, rather than for who they are. Since no one challenges Holmes's claims, it's easy for her to keep stating the obvious, repeat the same words, and thus avoid having to add anything new to this conversation, as if anything of value has been added in the first place.
I would look at it in the context of some of the renewable solutions that we already have, and in the context of empowering, connecting individuals with access to those solutions, and in the context of creating markets around them. I think that there's real opportunity to actually create an ecosystem in which people can financially benefit.
No, the repetitions don't stop there.
I agree with that. I think the more we can enfranchise people, the more we can create ecosystems in which individuals are empowered, the more we give rights to individuals to be able to build businesses, to be able to pursue the economic benefit of technologies, the more you see these markets change.
So markets change when you give people rights to build businesses. What can I say? I'm speechless. Now I totally see why she's at this meeting. Unintentionally, with this statement, Holmes actually reveals the best way to determine whether or not buzzwords matter more to a speaker than the actual content of their statement. If what the speaker says is so obvious that it doesn't need to be said, but the speaker says it anyway to come across as caring, virtuous, etc. Buzzwords and platitudes always have a self-serving function.
You know, I'm a businesswoman. I had a really clear job to do when I took over Bud Light. What does evolve and elevate mean? It means inclusivity. It means shifting the tone. It means having a campaign that's truly inclusive and feels lighter and brighter. And representation is at sort of the heart of evolution. Bet on people with similar values as me, who are hungry and want to do great things, but care about each other and protect each other and are kind and good.
Next, Clinton tries to make what we've heard sound more profound than it is. As a former president, he has plenty of hands-on experience in that area.
Before they leave the stage, I want you to look at them. And I want you to think about the time we have had to spend here. Stand up, Elias. This is my friend Elias Bousab. He is the education minister in Lebanon. He's got to educate all these kids. So he left a miracle that very much reflects the lives that Elizabeth and Jack have lived. He was in a very responsible position at the American University of Dubai. They started bringing American scholars over there to live in an Arabic culture. How much more could he and every smart Lebanese person do if they could focus on these things?
Now we know why this friend of Clinton is there. He's there for the sake of comparison, to compare his situation to the lives and alleged hopes and dreams of Holmes and Jack Ma. In light of this, Clinton's presupposition questions make sense. Holmes and Ma are there to confirm the points he's trying to make, the work he's doing with the so-called global initiative. Clinton knows that the only thing that works better than branding yourself is to have other people do the branding for you. Holmes closes with another topic that she knows is popular in these circles.
So go ahead, you were going to say something, weren't you?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, as we're talking about the future and from my own experience and looking at all the faces here, I think a huge part of the answer to your question is also to raise our little girls with the stereotype that they can be the best in engineering and science and math, because when they do in all of these industries, it changes everything. And we need to do that in this country, and we need to do that as parents in other countries.
Never mind if it fits in, as long as it sounds good. This particular appeal to emotion and pity is one that Holmes has used in other interviews as well.
Little girls who hear a lot of people come in and talk to them, but maybe don't get to hear from, I consider myself young women who have really pursued science and engineering and business and have the opportunity to talk with them about what's possible and what we can do and the pursuit of excellence in science and engineering especially, and that yes, that's something that's cool and something that they can excel in. And
that's exactly how people like Holmes achieve success, repeating the same things over and over. Things they've said or things other people have said, until the public starts to think it's true and the only truth. Repetition is recognition, as a certain duchess said, unintentionally revealing the technique she's using when saying the same buzzwords and platitudes.
And it was incredibly inspiring, the resounding themes that came up about representation, about inclusion, and about trying to shift the global perspective for all of us as a global community.
Let's give him a hand. Thank you.
What do you think about this interview? Let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, click the like button, which always helps. See you next time.